Hey, a Multifarious Fisherman here. This is 7 Fish. I'm out of the office today, taking a personal day. I'm gonna catch a train, go on a little trip. Had a viewer request that we do a video on structure fishing, but being as I'm not gonna be available, I'm gonna tell you a story about my friend Milton instead.
This is Circle Lake, where Milton lives. There's not much going on here, to be honest.
Milton looks like this. I'll see if I can get him back in the lake where he belongs, like catch and release. Come on.
Milton enjoys swimming around. When he runs into an edge, he'll turn and swim along the edge until he finds something to do. And there isn't much to do, so Milton is lonely. He dreams of drop-offs and depth changes so he can move out into the open water when he is in a negative mood or move up onto the shelf when he wants to feed. Major edges like a shoreline are great travel lanes. A piece of structure like a point will impede that travel and hold Milton for a little while. He may hold on the inside turn at the base of the point or on the outside turn at the end of the point, depending on whether there is food there or not. A down tree along the shoreline will interrupt Milton's travel, just like the point did. The more complex the tree is, the longer he might stay, and the more likely there is to be food there. When Milton encounters a roadbed or a boat ramp, he may find multiple edges, where the rock begins, where the concrete begins, and where it goes back to being dirt or sand. Also, there's a change of depth, typically, where a boat ramp is. Sometimes an edge is less obvious. It could be a growth of sparse weeds, or it could be a change in the color of the water. Wind on a bank can discolor water, creating a distinct mudline. Milton likes a mudline because it hides him from his prey and creates a favorable feeding situation. The opposite of the concept of a point would be a bay, where the shoreline cuts in. These usually have points at the mouth of the bay, and the back of the bay provides protection and sometimes favorable feeding. If there is a creek entering the bay, there may be a differential in water temperature. If that is a situation that is comfortable for Milton, he may stay there for quite some time. A creek can also bring in dirty water after a rain. The water may be cooler or warmer, and you may have multiple edges in these situations. Edges between temperature, edges between visibility, and then the edges of the shoreline, the bottom, and the surface itself. Sometimes the edges are less obvious, where simply the bottom turns from one material to another. Rock is a good one, and Milton really likes rock. It holds food, has mild depth changes, and a change in hardness of the bottom. Other less obvious edges are the surface and the bottom of the lake. Often overlooked by fishermen, these are edges that are very important. When multiple different kinds of edges come together, Milton is even more interested. So are the things that Milton fears, Milton enjoys, and Milton eats. The more complex a piece of structure is, the more likely it is to hold Milton and the food that Milton likes to eat. Though it is important to understand how fish react to different structural elements when they are negative, like after a cold front, or when they are active and feeding, like in prefrontal conditions. It is maybe more important to realize that not all fish in the lake are doing the same thing at the same time, but exhibit differing levels of activity. When Milton is peckish and feeding, Bertha may be hiding out away from structure, and Marge may be buried in the weeds. Thank you for joining Milton and I today. I'll be back in the office next week, so please join us then. If you got this far in the video, please comment your favorite fish species, and if you want us to catch one, or if you want to see it in the next Milton video. Thank you to Karis Pen Company for making a very enjoyable fountain pen that Milton flowed smoothly out of. Like and subscribe if you happen to be new. Thank you.